I mean, I'll say the obvious thing, which is that if Chris Jones and Drew Tranquill and Nick Bolton and Jalen Watson, Christian Fulton, and Trent McDuffie don't play, this defense is in trouble.
It's that football show here on KC Sports Summer. Tucker Franklin hanging out with Joshua Brisco today on that football show. Matt Verderame is on strike. He watched that game against the Seattle Seahawks, and he said, I cannot do another podcast. He needed to take some time to cool down. So Joshua Brisco is here hanging out with me on that football show presented by our sponsors, Ben Holiday Bottled and Bond Bourbon. Also, the fine folks at Holiday Distillery will be out there for the K-State watch party. I think there's still a few tickets left, so if you want to go grab that. There's still plenty of time to get in there for our college football watch party at Holiday Distillery as well. You go check that out. ESPN's Matt Miller will be there for that whole day. Week 2 of college football, some great games on, including MU, KU. We will be out there. I'll be locked in for that one as well. But Josh, welcome back to the program. You are our only returning guest. How are you doing?
I'm great learning that bit of knowledge there. You know, many times in my life, I have been a disappointing follow-up to Matt Verderame, saying, we can't get Matt. Who can we reach out to? Well, Josh is probably available. Yeah, I do think, you know, Matt also turned a real new leaf, and I think he's also he's on strike and ordering his Sky Moore jersey. It was genuinely nice to see a little bit of redemption after what was looking like one of the worst performances you could have in a preseason game. I know you guys have talked about him a lot over the years. Yeah. I'm dead serious about this. We saw what Dave Toub wanted to see from Sky Moore a couple of years ago as a punt returner. He had the burst. He had the speed. It was there. And you know, I hope he is able to keep doing that somewhere in the NFL. But the Chiefs wide receiver room's looking pretty bulky right now. And I think that's a good thing.
It's a position that we find ourselves as the Chiefs wide receiver room that we haven't really found ourselves in recently, where you feel kind of good about the depth outside of like the injuries, obviously like Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice has an injury, but I don't think it's that serious. I think they're
he was out there for a couple snaps last night.
Yeah, I mean they're just slow rolling him in, and you know I kind of want to see him. I'm glad he got out there for a few snaps because he hasn't played a football game in a very long time. So getting him out there, getting him in some rhythm there was good. I think that was good for him. Obviously, we'll talk about the Chiefs game at the Seattle Seahawks. Gross, disgusting game, not only weather-wise, but how that game played out. A lot of the Chiefs starters, so I shouldn't say a lot of the Chiefs starters. A lot of the Chiefs stars not playing in that game with Trent McDuffie, Chris Jones, Travis Kelce didn't play, Patrick Mahomes didn't play. I did, Josh, find it funny that they were all dressed out.
Yep. That's an Andy Reid thing, right? Like the guys are always, the guys who get out early in a preseason game are always suited up all the way to the final whistle. I'm not surprised that Mahomes like did his whole warm-up routine and everything and suited up. But I was kind of curious, like, hey, does Travis Kelce need to be in pads? But I think that's an Andy Reid thing where it's like, you know, you want to be suited up just like your teammates alongside him, and Travis Kelce's going to be out there wearing his pads while Jared Wiley and Big Bob Tonyan are out there getting it done. I don't know. It is both kind of funny and kind of neat in a way that I might be a little bit of a sucker for.
It is a very old school, I think, way of approaching things.
Also, I know this is controversial. The Chiefs' white over red road uniforms are so good, so clean. I love the red pants. I don't want to make this whole show a monochrome debate, but the red helmet, white jersey, red pants is just an elite combination.
You know how this show is. Both Matt and I are very big aesthetics fans when it comes to the NFL and just, I mean, sports in general. Sports aesthetics are it's a part of the game, truthfully. Yeah. Really, they really are. So when we see all these alternate helmets coming out, we see these alternate uniforms, and there is a wave, especially in the NBA, that I think it's the only. I think the NBA might be the only. Well, that's not true. Baseball can do it too. The monochrome is about the only place I think that you can get away with is in the NBA. Now, outside of like in baseball, you'll do white on white, gray on gray. Well, I think that's fine. But
blues, but it's lighter stuff.
Yes, it's not like you're not wearing blue pants over a white top, right? In baseball, that doesn't work. But in football, that does work. Like the Colts uniforms, I talk about blue and white. Like the Colts uniforms are crisp, they're clean, they're classic. I love the Colts uniforms. I don't really love the Indy Knights uniforms, but like whatever. There is something about the white jersey that the Chiefs have And I don't have one, which is kind of crazy for the amount of jerseys that I have, and I don't have a white Chiefs jersey.
Yeah.
That would probably be the next one I get, would be a white Chiefs jersey. I don't know who it would be, but it would be a white Chiefs jersey, just because the crisp cleanness of like everything on the white jersey, the red with the gold outline as well is so good. That is, I think personally, I think that is better than the Reds. Like, I think like that combo is better than like their home uniforms, which might be controversial, but I am willing to die on that hill that I love the white uniform, especially like I do love the red pants. But like when they go all white, it just reminds you of like those back in the like the Marty Ball days of going all white on the road, and that is a little bit nostalgic as well.
I agree with that. It is nostalgic. It is good, and I'll go ahead and take the most controversial bullet here for you, Tucker.
Here we go.
We can move on to something else. White over white, very much to that aesthetic, to that nostalgia, and really cool. Both the classic home and roads are really good, which means that, of course, by far, the Chiefs' worst uniform combination is the all reds. If you want to reach me, you can @ me on any social media platform, @Matt Verderam. Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't think I disagree with you, but it's by default.
Terrible, but it's
right. It's by default.
Yep.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I 100% agree. Okay. Before we dive into this game, there was a little bit of Chiefs news that came out.
Incredible out there. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Mr. Incredible. That's insane. There was a bit of Chiefs news that came out. I believe this was on Friday, right? This came out Friday morning.
What days are anything, dude? The Chiefs have played Saturday, Friday. I don't know. It was on a football day, I think. No, which part
Thursday?
Of it, Tucker? Which part of it? We talked about Rashee Rice initially on Thursday on Only Weird Games, which is how I know when a Thursday happens. But then the Tom Pelissero report was added on top of it yesterday about what the NFL was looking for. So, what day is it? Who cares?
I think it's Saturday. Here we go. I'm just gonna read this article here from Grant Gordon of NFL.com, the digital content editor over there. That's where we get a lot of the headlines and stuff here. The NFL initially proposed a suspension of Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice for double-digit games, which is the basis of the league and NFL Players Association's inability to agree on the length of the penalty, leading to a September 30th disciplinary hearing. NFL insider Tom Pelissero reported on Friday. There is still a possibility that an agreement on a suspension length is reached prior to the start of the Kansas City Chiefs season on September 5th that should result in Rice missing games to begin the year rather than later at some point. For Pelissero, the lack of precedence for suspending a player for more than half of the season in a situation such as this is a reason behind the NFLPA and the Rice's representation pushing back. Here's kind of how this all started, right? Rice, he's facing discipline under the league's personal conduct policy after he was sentenced to 30 days in jail in July, following authorities saying he and another driver traveling at high speeds caused a chain reaction crash that involved multiple vehicles and caused multiple injuries on March 30th, 2024 in Dallas. Should the hearing take place as scheduled, it will be overseen by disciplinary officer Judge Sue L. Robinson, who previously ruled on Deshaun Watson's suspension in 2022. So what had happened, to dumb it down, water it down, put it in layman's terms here, we'll get all that illegal stuff out of the way. The league was saying, hey, we want to suspend Rashee Rice for a half a season. Rashee Rice said, hey, wait, hold on a second. Maybe not Rashee Rice exactly, but his counsel and the team of the Kansas City Chiefs said, hey, that doesn't really make any sense considering every other suspension that you've given out in this regard. So they have landed on a hearing on September the 30th, which is, as you guys mentioned on the Only Weird Games, a month and a half away. Yeah. And with Sue L. Robinson coming to basically be the third-party moderator to say, like, hey, all right, let's look at like what you guys have done in the past. Let's look at what this, incident was. How much does it occur? Like, how many games suspension should this occur? There's a lot going on, especially with the Pelissero report coming out on Friday saying, like, hey, the league wanted a double-digit suspension. They wanted more than a half of a season for Rashee Rice's suspension. And I think you guys have done a really good job at Only Weird Games talking about it. It helps you guys do have an active lawyer on the podcast to talk about a lot of this stuff. But Josh, I want to know your thoughts kind of on how this whole thing is shaken up. And I know that there's plenty of people out there, plenty of Chiefs conspiracy theorists thinking that this is benefiting the Chiefs and the league is just doing this to benefit the Chiefs because they play on national TV the first 4 weeks of the season. Like they don't play on national TV. Yeah, like they don't play on national TV every week, but nevertheless, Thoughts on this whole situation as it's become more and more complex, and generally, I don't say this for no pun intended, it's gotten weird.
Yes, it has. You're 100% right. And we also have the advantage of having a Minnesotan lawyer on the show, which has been helpful to the Jordan Addison element of this, which is, well, here's the quick caveat that nobody really needs, and we also over caveat it on weird games. Everybody gets it. No one is saying that Rashee Rice should not be suspended. No one was saying he shouldn't be punished on a legal level. Like, that has come down. We got that. And he should miss a couple of games. Okay, well, he should miss games. I'm not even going to put any terms on it. He should miss games, okay? We all understand this. Everybody's on the same page. I was genuinely stunned to see that the NFL reportedly was looking for a double-digit suspension for Rashee Rice because there's no precedent for that. This is something that Seth says a lot when we're talking about all the legal things. You get punished for what happened, not what could have happened. Everyone also understands Rashee Rice, in the grand scheme of things, got pretty lucky because another millimeter this way or that way, and who knows? You got super fast-moving cars in a public space on the highway. Terrible things happen. He got relatively lucky. I think if the NFL said, hey, we're going to give you these 4 games and acknowledge that you made a mistake and we're lucky, which he's already acknowledged, the admitted guilt and whatnot, I go, cool. All right, yep, 4 games seems reasonable. Jordan Addison ended up getting 3 with what started as a DUI. Go listen to Weird Games on Thursday if you want to hear Seth explain how the Minnesota kind of, how the DUI thing happens there. Way above my head. But Seth did a good job, again, kind of layman's termsing it. But I am really befuddled by how the NFL's argument would be made for a double-digit suspension. Again, not that I'm like needing to play Rashee Rice's defense lawyer here. We can say, okay, so Jordan Addison, it started with this DUI suspicion and all of this, and got pled down to whatever. And you said, well, 3 games behind the wheel of a car intoxicated.
Yep.
3 games for that. Irresponsible, presumably sober racing for Rashee Rice. Also bad. I'd say vehicular crimes, right? Criminal activity behind the wheel of a car. If they would have given Jordan Addison 8 games, I'd have less of a leg to stand on here, I think. Go, okay, well, if the NFL is going to treat all of these things as really serious crimes, which they are and they could, and we're going 8 games for this stuff. All right, well, at least there's some precedent there. What we're talking about for this Rashee Rice thing is like Deshaun Watson and Justin Tucker lengths of suspensions. Obviously, those are similar charges and completely different to Rice and Addison and all of that. And I've seen people invoke Henry Ruggs' name, and he just went to prison, so the NFL didn't have to do anything about that. And that's obviously the most horrendous event in like recent memory of this type.
Yeah.
I really don't understand how there could be genuine precedent for a 10, 11 game suspension for Rashee Rice. I think anything from 2 to 6, I could have probably hung out with. When the Jordan Addison one came down at 3, I thought, oh, okay, well, I bet Rashee Rice gets 4 then.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that what Rashee Rice did was 1 game worse, 1 paycheck worse than what Addison did. I don't know. Also, Rice is obviously paying out a bunch of money right now, and he wants to be getting paychecks instead of losing them.
Absolutely.
That's not his right anymore, though. The NFL can suspend him for his mistake, obviously. 10 or 11, 12 games, whatever it would have been, is really, really baffling to me. And I understand from Rice's case or from the Chiefs or whoever's kind of taken that side of the argument to the courts, so to speak, or to the arbitrator. I would understand them saying, hey, look at what the NFL has done when punishing similar things in the past. Tell them to give us one of those and we'll all be cool here. I think that's a pretty good argument from Rice's side.
Wasn't it Matt Derrick who reported early on that the Chiefs were like hoping for a 2 to 4 game suspension?
Yes. And Addison ended up being split down the middle of that, which kind of made sense considering how the NFL typically judges these.
Right, and that makes sense for like the past, precedent. Again, we can't really rely on the NFL to keep precedent because they never do. They never do when it comes to these suspensions like this. And I do find it something that you said too that I totally agree with. I don't think it's fair to like compare crimes, right? Be like, oh yeah, well this crime is not as bad as this crime. Well, they're all crimes, right? So that's also a thing. What I find so interesting about this whole thing, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, I don't think Deshaun Watson has ever admitted guilt?
No, I mean, I don't.
I can't recall.
No.
I don't think Justin Tucker has admitted guilt yet.
Mm-mm.
Both of those guys got double-digit suspensions. Watson 11, Tucker 10.
Yep.
Rashee Rice did admit guilt.
Yep.
And he did said that he was going to do anything that he could do to help the victims of the accident. He said that he messed up. He said he was sorry. He's actively doing things to pay back retribution for what he did. And they want to give him the same amount of games for two guys who did, I mean, I just said I don't want to say worse crimes. I don't want to compare crimes, but there were people that were injured, right? People had to go to the hospital in Rashee Rice's thing, right? Like that did happen. Nobody died. I don't think that should be a bar, right? If you're suspended or not, if anyone died. Yeah. But I mean, again, as you said, Josh, it has to be based on what happened, not what could have happened. So I think that the league trying to shoot for a 10, 12, 14 game suspension just to try to make a statement of Rashee Rice and try to curb people wanting to street race. Cause it is a bad thing, right?
Yes.
Like it's
absolutely.
Inherently, like you see a lot of the Georgia football team, right? They are caught for speeding all the time and reckless driving. So it is something that, like, obviously these kids like to do, and it's one of the new things that they're going to have to try to steer them away from doing. And I understand the league's point of view of saying, like, we want to deter people from doing this. Like,
if the NFL and the next CBA wants to establish a baseline of
100%.
of vehicular crimes behind the wheel of a car, you start at 4 games and you go to 12 games. Cool. It's in the CBA. It's not right now.
It isn't, and that's the thing. It's like there's no precedent for what has happened. Well, there's some precedent, but not a lot, and it's not to the extent of what the NFL wants to do with Rashee Rice. So I think that's the thing that's the holdup. I thought it was interesting. Nate said, like, don't anticipate them to actually come to an agreement before the arbiter. It'd be interesting to set an arbiter date and be like, actually, I think we're going to agree,
right?
Because like,
line for us. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I don't necessarily think that, but. Let's get into the Chiefs preseason game because, Josh, there wasn't a late night kickoff, obviously, and it wasn't pretty. Not very many Chiefs stars played, but honestly, my biggest takeaway from this has been the Chiefs defense on the Chiefs defensive front. Yes, I know that Chris Jones wasn't playing up front. They didn't have Nick Bolton in there. Trent McDuffie wasn't in there. If you're going to take those 3 guys out of the defense, obviously the defense is going to look worse, right? I get that. I understand. But I think that this Seattle Seahawks offense, which isn't like a world-beating offense, it isn't a – I think I described it as a mid offense when I was talking to Verderam about it.
I kind of forgot Sam Darnold was the quarterback to the game started. Oh, he's playing. Oh, yeah, that's Sam Darnold.
Yeah, they were treating it like their Super Bowl too. I don't know if you caught that, but the first time they had a penalty, the Chiefs got the ball and Trey Smith got that false start. They're hyping up the crowd of let's go, we are in control. It's yeah, this is a preseason game, guys. Yeah, Gardner Minshew's the quarterback here we're going against right now. I thought that was fun. He did. He really did. We need to talk about Gardner Minshew because I'm getting ripped apart for a tweet that I made about Gardner Minshew saying that he was the best Chiefs backup quarterback they've ever had, and people are like, "Oh, Chad Henne." But we can't act like Chad Henne was overly talented by the time he was in Kansas City. He was
it was literally the last year or 2 years of Henne. I can't remember if he was.
Yeah, he wasn't even the starter when Mahomes got hurt. It was Matt Moore. Matt Moore was the starter.
Henne got hurt before that, and then they ended up calling him out. Regardless, I kind of like your Minshew take. I honestly think your next best argument probably would have been Carson Wentz. He did not do much.
That was a bad take.
But I mean, Carson Wentz kind of seemed like maybe that guy. Minshew just seems like he's having a good time and he fits, which is kind of the Gardner Minshew experience. Yeah.
Did you see? I know that you were watching the game, obviously from the Chiefs Radio Network studios, but sure. I don't know if you had the sound on when you were watching the Patrick Mahomes mic'd up at halftime. You were doing halftime show.
All I hear now is the radio call. Which is going to end up saving me some trouble in the regular season. I think you all are going to be tweeting about Chris Collinsworth, and I'm going to be listening to Mitch and be like, I don't see the problem.
That's great. Yeah. So are you ahead then? Are you listening to things ahead?
I'm living in the future. I'm hearing the radio feed, and then 6 seconds later seeing a TV feed, and 6 seconds later getting another TV feed. So I really am it functions like a little replay booth sometimes, which for better and for worse. Because sometimes like, oh, look at here. I'm pointing to Nick. I'm pointing at the screen. Watch what Jason Brownlee did. And so he might be sick of it, but I'm enjoying it.
That's cool. But I do think I forgot kind of what I was talking about. But Gardner Minshew is definitely a vibes guy. Oh, in the mic'd up for Patrick Mahomes as they play, because they play just a lot of the 65 TPT content at halftime during these preseason broadcasts. They were talking about there's a quarterbacks in a huddle, and they were talking about like pizza. They were gonna have a pizza party at Chris Oladokun in Patrick Mahomes' room. Is what they were gonna say. Like, we're getting pizza tonight. What do you want? And Gardner Minshew turns around, looks at the camera, and says, "You're not invited." So funny. So he's obviously a glue guy, obviously a vibes guy. I love it. I genuinely do. Like, I'm not going to shy away from the take. Like, we can't act like, I know that Chad Henne came in and played some really good drives, but like he wasn't as talented as Gardner Minshew was currently as when he was then. I understand people's romanticization.
You got really close last time. The last one was really, really close.
Romanticization. Whatever. You guys know.
I've heard it too many times.
Yeah, it's okay. Everyone knows what I'm talking. Drop a romanticization in the comment section below. People romanticize. There it is. Chad Henne because of like the couple drives, and rightfully so.
It was
like
incredible. It was a win.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was super cool. Like, I'm not saying that like they should, but I'm not saying that like Chad Henne was like at the end of his years. Right? Blaine Gabbert literally played his last year here. Carson Wentz literally played his last year here. Carson Wentz played actual games for an NFL team last year. He started 9 games. Now, it was the Las Vegas Raiders, but he started actual 9 games.
Say Carson Wentz there. I'm just going to save you the tweet.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Gardner Minshew started actual games for an NFL team last year and was actually believed to be an NFL starter. And he might be able to start for the Browns right now, truthfully. Yes. I mean, like, I think people were overreacting about Tanner McKee. I think people should be overreacting about Gardner Minshew starting for active NFL teams.
And I think you're like, Henne came in and did the job perfectly. Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, like, neither of us are ever going to try to take that away from Chad Henne.
No. Oh, God, no.
I think Minshew has the argument as the guy who you would be the most excited about. Is the wrong word, because in this world, Patrick Mahomes isn't playing for a while. But I think Minshew is the guy who you would say, all right, well, if I got to watch 3 consecutive games of the same Chiefs backup quarterback filling in for Patrick Mahomes, I think 2025 Gardner Minshew is probably my first pick. I would have been a little bit curious to see what Wentz did with the starters. He was obviously a disaster in Week 18 because everything was a disaster in Week 18. In the preseason, I don't remember much of anything good happening for Wentz. But like, I'd like to see. Hold on, that's not true. I don't want to see Minshew play 3 games this year. But if he has to, or he's in there for a little cleanup duty sometime, I like seeing him be a little gunslinger back there.
So anyway, other than Carson Wentz, my biggest takeaway.
You say Carson Wentz
from the game. God damn it! I can't stop thinking about Carson Wentz.
I'm sorry, I brought him up.
Yeah, I got the ginger gunslinger in my head.
That's right.
Other than Gardner Minshew, our hero in this game, the Chiefs' defense was a bit concerning. And heading into the season, the lab guys have been a bit down on the Chiefs' defense. And I wasn't quite to their level, right? Craig was always kind of like, hey, even before like training camp started, Craig was like, hey, they should probably, sign another corner. Like, Christian Fulton's great and all, but like, he's never played a full season in his career. They should probably get some depth on this team. And the depth was really exposed, especially in that linebacker room. Boy, howdy. That was a brutal and tough watch. There for a little bit, I think through the first quarter, maybe quarter and a half, the Chiefs were allowing 9 yards a carry. Like that.
Was that all?
Yeah, that was all, unfortunately. But like, man, they were getting gashed. It did not look good, and on top of it, they added injuries to it. Like Felix Anudike-Uzomah, he ends up leaving the game. You got Omar Norman-Lott. He does come back in, but he did tweak his ankle up a little bit. You got Noel Williams in the concussion protocol. A real up and down game for Noel Williams, by the way. And then the safety room, Mike Edwards has a hamstring injury. Najee Johnson, I know he's a corner, but he ends up getting hurt on like the best rep he's ever had, I think. Yeah. And then he gets hurt on that play. Man, just not a great showing for the Chiefs defense. And overall, Josh, it kind of has me worried depth-wise heading into this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say the obvious thing, which is that if Chris Jones and Drew Tranquill and Nick Bolton and Jalen Watson, Christian Fulton and Trent McDuffie don't play, this defense is in trouble. Like those are guys who did not take a single snap yesterday. So I'm going to walk the line a little bit in both directions. First of all, like this isn't, I can't remember. I saw this somewhere, but I thought it was a pretty good summary on one of the social sites where somebody said like, it's kind of a defense built on like stars and coaching. And they didn't play the stars, and Spags was not dialing up anything fun for the Seahawks in week 2 of the preseason, right? So I think the floor is a little higher than it feels right now. And I think the ceiling is still pretty high because if you have healthy, high achieving stars, then sky's the limit. The problem is still like, are you going to get that level of performance from pretty much all of those guys? I was also like, I'm still optimistic about Christian Fulton, but I loved the signing when it happened because I want to see Trent McDuffie back in the slot and all of that. And that might happen. But you do kind of need all 3 of those guys right now, especially with all those injuries. And you mentioned an up and down game for Noah Williams. I've been pretty impressed by his preseason by and large, including the moments of like, whoop, there's a rookie in the preseason, kind of getting his feet set. Like, hey, this is I'm glad he played 36 snaps yesterday, and I hope he plays a bunch more, at least in the second half. And look at the depth right now. He might have to start, I don't know, next week at Arrowhead. But I'm not big picture worried from things last night. Because also I don't think Cole Christensen and Jack Cochran are going to play a ton of defensive snaps in the regular season. Okay. There are a few things though that do make you go, right? The safety rotation's been kind of weird. Jaden Hicks played a ton, which is just sort of strange for a guy that has been sort of penciled into the Justin Reed replacement role throughout the entire offseason. Yeah. I'm wondering if we over purchased some of that hype, or if there's some advantage in Spags' mind to having Hicks out there just getting more reps and being kind of the guy later on. But he wasn't the guy for the first team. First team was Shamari Connor and Brian Cook, and Hicks was in there for a bunch of 3 safety stuff that like first drive. I'm a little bit confused about what's going on in the defensive back room altogether because of the injuries and the rotation at safety. That alarms me a little bit. I think we kind of know what this defensive line is. Also, a lot of late snaps and a lot of snaps in general for Charles Omenihu, kind of weird. I don't think he's in any danger of dropping below 3rd in the D-line rotation, the D-end rotation, I should say. But I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Dana is actually starting most games this regular season, which isn't. I love Charles Omenihu, and so no offense to Mike Dana, but he'd be my 3. It's a defensive day that gives you virtually nothing to hang your hat on and be excited about. I don't think it actually lessens my expectations for them in the regular season very much, but I do think you're probably looking at this roster again and saying, okay, well, they need to be a middle of the pack defense, and Patrick Mahomes needs to lead an offensive resurgence, and this team's going to be just fine.
And that really is my concern is more for the depth, right? I recognize that the Chiefs were playing a lot of I don't want to say a lot of twos because there's some guys who are going to get some real snaps that were out there for that first drive. That was not pretty at all. That first drive was awful to watch. There were some guys getting real snaps. Obviously, I think you hit the nail on the head with just if you add Chris Jones and Trent McDuffie, Andrew Tranquill, and Nick Bolton all into this defense, they probably play a whole lot better than what they did. Yes. And I think that's an important context to have. For me, it's more of the depth. It's to realize, to watch those linebackers play and realize, oh, if they have even an injury, they're getting a guy who they clearly Jeff Bossa, fun guy. Bassa, I think is how he said.
I've got Bassa. He said Bassa in his little clip. This is gonna be. It's not quite Chanel, but I think Bassa might take a little while to really settle into one or the other. Yeah,
everybody calls him Bossa, but I actually played it on the postgame show because you sent it to us yesterday. I was like, hey, Kent, by the way, I need to pull this up, and I played it on the postgame show. I was like, hey, this is how he's saying it, just so you know.
You know what I got? Now I want you to finish your defense thought.
Yeah,
Essa Pole. How about that on Pro Football Reference? Pro Football Reference had it spelled out that way.
I don't like that one though.
Talking about the defense, I've derailed you too many times today.
No, that's okay. I just get worried about if there's an injury because we talk about Drew Tranquill having that back injury, right? Yes. Back injuries just don't go away. You have a back injury that literally will never go away. And you talk about that guy being one of your starters and kind of your core linebacker pieces, and we saw a lot of the linebackers yesterday not really know what was going on. And that is concerning And that is something, especially when you talk about the corner room as well. You have a guy who is actively working back from a knee cleanup in Christian Fulton, who, as I mentioned before, has not played a full season in his NFL career. And you're looking at that cornerback depth with them getting an injury to Najee Johnson. Now you're looking around like, it gets dark pretty quick around here. Like it is a tough scene for the depth of this defense. Maybe it possibly could be that I am overreacting from a preseason game where they obviously didn't care about it. They obviously did not care about this game because it was raining. They're playing on turf. None of the stars played. Maybe I am overreacting from this. I'd be the first one to admit that I was wrong. I hope I am wrong. But like just looking at the depth of this defensive unit, I mean, Mike Pennell didn't really play that well. That was another thing, too. I was kind of just like, oh, boy.
Jerry Tillery was out there a lot. Omar Norman Lott seemed to have I mean, he's still dealing with an ankle, clearly, which I have other questions about. But.
Yeah. I mean, he hurt that, I think, pretty early in training camp, and has continued to play through it. It's a bit concerning to me about the depth of this defensive unit. I feel a lot better about like where the offense is. I know we didn't get to see Patrick Mahomes with it, but the first team offensive line and kind of like I'll say it in air quotes, the first team wide receivers, right, that were available were out there, and I thought they looked good. I mean, as we mentioned, Gardner Minshew looked good. I don't know anything about Carson Wentz looking good, though. I don't know who that guy is at all. But I do think that like there were some positives from the game, right? Big Bob Tunyon, as the chairman and CEO of the Big Bob Booster Club, I'm obligated to mention that Big Bob Tunyon once again led all receivers in the game and scored a touchdown. So, I mean, Bobby Touchdowns was after it again, and I mean, he seems like he's going to be a lock on this roster. It seems like Tyquan Thornton is getting a lot of run early, and I think he only played, Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, 5 snaps?
That's right. All in the first drive. He did not see the field again. He might have ended up on some special teams reps. I think he probably did, but no offensive snaps for Thornton after the first drive. Feels like he's
and one catch for 14 yards, and they said, all right, Tyquan, appreciate your contribution. Let's go ahead and sit you out on this one. So it feels like he's on the roster.
I think so.
It feels pretty good about that. Obviously, we talked about Sky Moore at the top of the show. Great to see him get that punt return for a touchdown, but like, man,
rough day on offense. Yeah.
Rough day.
I think we could right now. I think we could probably do a 50-man roster projection.
Yeah.
Without getting one wrong. I think there are probably the offensive line room is so fascinating because you've got a few developmental guys on the inside and the outside. But I think we would be able to get pretty close at this point looking at last night's snap count.
Okay.
And to your point with like looking at both sides of the ball, I think you have a question at left guard on offense. Just is Kingsley going to be able to do it for a full game, or season? You know, some ups and downs yesterday. It seemed like I just got a little push notification that Seth Kaiser's got a Simmons Suamataia film review that just came out as we were recording this. We can timestamp, we can carbon date when we recorded this episode, unless I got the notification late, which is entirely possible.
I just got it too, so it's okay.
Maybe it's fresh. I think you've got kind of one real question on offense, and it's left guard, and maybe a little bit of receiver, just like Hollywood getting back and all of that. I think it's fair to ask a lot of questions on defense because we didn't talk about it a lot throughout the offseason, but I mean, Derek Nottie, they let walk. Mike Pennell's the one tech. Like he's they don't play a lot of nose, but, you know, if you think he's the run stuffer next to Chris Jones, who can also, you know, stuff a run here or there, but he's a pass rusher from the 3 tech spot.
Mm-hmm.
This is that football show. People probably know that. Mike Pennell is just like your answer for that position group. And then you draft Omar Norman Lott, who wasn't that guy in college, and looks like he's kind of getting bulked up to be that guy and to play more that way as a rookie, which is interesting, I guess. You try to get the like explosive, slightly smaller defensive tackle and think you can try to change his mold for his NFL career. I'm not like distraught by that, but it's certainly interesting. It's certainly worth noting. And then Jerry Tillery is out there much more in that Chris Jones mold. And I mean, we talked for a chunk of the offseason, like, oh, okay, so is Marlon Tuipulotu like the number 2, like 1 tech defensive tackle on this team? And I guess the answer now is no, because it's Omar Norman Lott, who hasn't really played that before. So I continue to have my questions there. I think the defensive end group is nice. Linebackers and secondary and and defensive tackle, I think all have questions. Some of them at the top of the depth chart and lots of them throughout.
Yeah. So we'll see how it all shakes out. Obviously, the Chiefs do have their third preseason game. That'll be at home. It'll be on grass. It'll also be against the Chicago Bears. And according to Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes will be getting some time. Some of the starters will be getting some time actually in this game as they gear up to take on the Chargers in Sao Paulo, Brazil, on the first week of the season. So that'll be exciting. Josh, I think we got to take a break. I think we are running a little bit over for our break, but we'll take a break. On the other side, we'll talk about some things going on around the NFL. We got our drawing for the KCSN Foundation pre-tournament raffle that's going to take place on later as well. You guys already know we're still going to do Bozo of the week. So let's take a break. We'll be back right after this. Chiefs.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
Just a short drive from Kansas City. Experience the history, the heritage, and the bourbon at Holiday Distillery. Tour Missouri's oldest distillery, where real Missouri bourbon is made the old-fashioned way. Walk the grounds, taste the tradition, and take home a bottle of something special. Make the trip, sip the story. Holiday Distillery, Weston, Missouri. Book your tour at holidaydistillery.com.
All right, Josh, it's been a minute since we recorded the show. I mean, it was Monday when that football show came out, so we've got a week full of NFL news to chat about. Obviously, we want to start with James Cook and the Bills' 4-year, $48 million contract extension. They get a deal done. He gets, I think, only about $12 million of that is guaranteed. Interesting enough, the way that they all worked that out. But thoughts on Cook's deal with the Bills? And by the way, he kind of. I don't know how recently you've watched the Chiefs AFC Championship game against the Bills.
Not recently.
He was a big reason that they were in that game.
Yeah. When I first saw that he was looking for a new deal, it's kind of like, oh, okay, so are the Bills going to do the thing where they overpay a running back and then regret it immediately, which is just honestly just how it goes a lot of the time in the NFL at this point. I was going to double check the guaranteed numbers, but that's the first thing that matters to me.
30 mil guaranteed. No,
30 guaranteed. Okay.
So. Mm-hmm.
That'll be the thing that's interesting, and I'm looking at the structure of it now and then seeing, when an out is, which is something you have to keep in mind when you're extending a running back. But I feel like that's a relatively reasonable mid-market price for a running back. It's like, hey, man, don't be holding out for Saquon, Derrick Henry, healthy CMC money here, right? You want to get paid. You've earned the right to get paid off of your rookie contract. Like you should probably get a raise, about $12 million per whatever it is. And again, how long that actually goes. Hey, we're basically giving you a strong 2-year extension, effectively, and we can get out from under it after that if we need to. I think that's reasonable for a guy that's a part of your offense that way within that bucket. I wouldn't want to pay a top 10 but not top 5 running back. I wouldn't want to pay that guy a whole lot more than this. And that's probably reasonable for Cook, right? The 5 to 10 range. It's pretty fluid in the modern NFL, that list of running backs, but it seemed reasonable enough for me, and the Bills have like one more weapon they can just kind of lock in and then figure out the rest of it.
100%. He is a big part of that offense, and like as I mentioned, going back and watching that game, he is a very clear part of why the Bills were in that game. And look, Josh Allen did play well too, right? That plays into it, but I don't believe, I'm going back and looking at this now, I don't think they gave him a touch in the fourth quarter. And I think, that was a bit of a mistake on their part. But
he's probably is he the number 2 weapon in that offense behind maybe Kincaid? I was thinking, like, I mean, I'm just not in love with any of the Bills receivers, am I? And then I just pulled up the depth chart again to remind myself: Joshua Palmer, Keelan Coleman, Khalil Shakir.
Khalil Shakir. That is, truthfully, they're on like 2023 Chiefs levels of weapons of like, hey,
right?
It's like, hey, we're gonna go into the season with Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney as our 1 and 2.
And we're going to go to the Super Bowl, and they're both going to score. Have fun, everybody.
They did both score that game. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Look, Breece Hall is still looking for an extension as well. Kyron Williams and James Cook have gotten done. I don't think that the Jets give him an extension just because the Jets seem to be in love with other guys in that room more than they like Breece Hall. Maddie and I had this conversation on 21 Questions. Breece Hall is one of those guys that is like sneaky good. Like you watch him and like you're like, this is all right. But then like you look at his numbers and his numbers are just kind of like fine, but like I don't know, there's something about Breece Hall that like you can get done. And I know that it's been flirted around with like the Chiefs as well, of like him trying to make a trade there and him wanting to be there. But also last week on the podcast, I think we talked about Landon Dickerson and his injury there to the Philadelphia Eagles. He had a meniscus and he was also drinking beers on the sideline. I saw this.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
that's kind of sick. Drinking beers on the sideline of a joint practice. I know that this name has been thrown out a lot. Brandon Scherf does retire from the NFL officially after 10 seasons. People were saying like, hey, maybe you just call Brandon Scherf, see if he's got like any juice left in the tank. Sounds like he doesn't got any juice left in the tank. So that is kind of a bummer if the Chiefs do have any need at left guard.
It also sounded like he like kind of quietly retired like months ago and just didn't tell anybody. It like came out and like
quiet quit.
Yeah, you're right. Which is very, very offensive lineman. You know what? All right, right now I'm either about to have a beer or a Gatorade. I'm gonna have beer. I'm good. It's been an awesome career. Congratulations.
It's almost like he like retired, but then someone was like, "Hey, you have to send in the paperwork, right? If you're gonna retire, you got to send in paper." He's like,
"Why? What?
Oh, like I already said
they're gonna make me play.
Right. I declared it.
Yeah.
I
declare retirement. Yeah, that's perfect. We should be able to do that.
I could see an offensive lineman doing that. I'd be like, why do I have to fill out this paperwork? I already said I was retired. It doesn't make any sense. A couple legal things. Florida prosecutors declined to formally charge Browns rookie Quinshon Judkins. He is back with the team, and they decided not to move forward, according to a Broward County Attorney's Office in a memorandum obtained by NFL Media on Thursday. Also related to the Browns and also related to legal issues. Former Texas wide receiver Isaiah Bond will not face criminal charges stemming from his April arrest, and announced Thursday he is signing with the Cleveland Browns. So the Browns getting two players added to their offense, 2 rookies actually added to their offense.
Yeah, I don't think that the Bond signing is official yet. He just like announced it in the statement that he would be signing with the Browns. I believe that. I declare Cleveland. I don't know. Yeah. I'm guessing that they had some communication on that. There's like a roster move coming, but last I saw, that was still just in his statement. He was obviously a super interesting prospect until the arrest and everything came with
second round. Like, a lot of people thought he was going to go in the second round, and then obviously he was arrested, and nobody wanted to deal with that.
Right.
Rightfully so.
And yeah, rightfully so. And then you figure it out. And I have not followed that case nearly closely enough to make any sort of judgment on like how they got to this point. But yeah, I mean, look, if you're a wide receiver that needs some consistent quarterback play and you want to establish yourself in the NFL, what better spot to go than Cleveland?
Yeah. I mean, Cleveland's not a very popular city or team on this podcast. We let our feelings on the Cleveland Browns are known on this podcast. So
I'll
be on
olive
somebody.
branch. Not that there are any Browns fans listening to this, with that being the case, I feel for Browns fans deeply. Because I don't know that there's a more tortured existence of just total misery. Like, obviously, lots of teams, the Chiefs had plenty of misery. The Bills have a unique flavor of misery. The Browns have just been absolutely effing hopeless. The splashiest move they've made in 15 years was trading for and giving unbelievable amounts of guaranteed money to a sex pest. And now it's like, all right, well, we've got 2 rookie quarterbacks, and Joe Flacco's here, and nobody is healthy. And we traded for Kenny Pickett for some reason. Enjoy. Yeah. So Browns fans have my empathy.
Awful ownership in front office.
Terrible.
Just terrible. Shane Steichen, Colts head coach, hopes a winner emerges from the Colts quarterback battle sooner rather than later. They will play, I think that's later today, Josh, when we're recording this podcast, and Daniel Jones will be the starting quarterback. There we go.
Dylan Gabriel just threw a pick six. Like, literally just finished that. Looked over at my phone. See, a pick six for Eagles rookie Andrew Mukuba. Off Browns rookie Dylan Gabriel. Nice. Tucker, I have an irresponsible Colts take.
Let's do it.
I don't think this would necessarily be my opinion if I was Shane Steichen or anyone whose employment was tied to this franchise in any way whatsoever. If they don't play Anthony Richardson, they're unserious. I'm not telling you that Anthony Richardson is going to be good. I'm saying you've got maybe 8 games to make that call permanently. Like, play out the start of your season and let Anthony Richardson, you can live and die by the sword, and maybe you're going to mostly die by the sword. And if he can't stay healthy for 4 games, that decision is made for you.
Yeah.
The only pathway, it's not a big path, but the only path to the Colts being a team who could win a playoff game this year or next is if Anthony Richardson improves by 15% or whatever it is. If he is able to make a few more basic plays and to still have some of the unbelievable highlights that he's capable of, and I know it's huge ifs, that's the only path to the Colts being anything resembling a contender anytime soon.
Yep.
I know exactly who Daniel Jones is. So do you. There's a value to having that guy, especially in like the back end of a tank or the back half of a lost season. Like, hey, you know what? We have to have a grown-up quarterback who will let us evaluate everybody else, because I need to know how I feel about these pass catchers. I need to know if this offensive line is the O-line's fault or the quarterback's fault. Like, and if Daniel Jones is your adult in the room, you know, your quarterback who can at least show you where the problems are, or give a couple of those pass catchers a chance to make some plays over the course of this season, I get it. If you have to pass it off to him halfway through the season, so be it. But maybe what I'm actually saying is that if Anthony Richardson doesn't get the starting job, it's done. It's over. They should trade him now,
right?
Before roster cut downs. Give him to some team that wants to have him in the building for a year, and let Kevin O'Connell build a backup plan. You know what I mean? Like, just give him to somebody. I don't care who. If you're not going to play him, though, just call the experiment off.
Yeah, I think if you don't play him, though, too, you got to kind of clean housing in Indianapolis. I think Chris Ballard's got to go. Like,
he's been there for a long time and
I don't understand how he's still there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand how Chris Ballard is still there. And I think Shane Steichen, I think he's a fine coach, but like, man, like it didn't work. And that's like sometimes it's better to admit it didn't work than try to making it work. Yeah. Truthfully. You think about a relationship that you had back in the day, trying to make it work, you know, sometimes you just want to try to make it work so bad, but sometimes it's better just to say, you know what, it's just not going to work out. And we'll see how that goes. But Josh, a note that I found really interesting. I didn't realize this until I was scrolling the
played 15 NFL football games. 15
right.
games.
That's the other thing is that like Anthony Richardson needs to play.
Yes,
that's the big thing. He just needs game experience, and they refuse to give it to him, which is insane to me.
And I get maybe he sucks, but you drafted him, so you made your bed, lay in it, let him play.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. Justin Herbert's going to play in his first ever preseason game.
Yeah, saw that. Interesting.
I thought it was crazy. He's not playing a preseason game, and then like it makes a whole lot of sense actually.
Yeah, it kind of does. You think about the coaches he's had. And yeah, I think it makes sense that the rest of the NFL is like doing a little bit of like, okay, maybe Andy Reid's right. Like maybe this we should play a little bit. So their first breath of game action isn't when they're getting hit in week 1 against a defensive coordinator who's actually dialing stuff up. And that makes sense. Some of the teams that basically treat the like joint practices as preseason games, I think it's probably fine, right? Like you gotta get a couple bullets flying somewhere.
Mm-hmm. You have to. I did find that interesting, and kind of you guys have talked about it on Only Wear Games as well, of like how the NFL shifted has kind of more towards the Andy Reid philosophy of towards the starting playing their starters. I mean, the Bengals started doing it too, just so they could feel good about their offense, and then they played their starters on defense and got torched by Tanner McKee. So, it double-edged sword.
The Bengals played their starters, but they didn't play NFL starters.
Yeah, right. That is very correct. Kind of in the same vein as the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh got a 10-year show clause order from the NCAA in the Michigan case. They brought that down, but Michigan also is like appealing it. So like, who knows what will actually happen? And it doesn't matter because he's in the NFL now. So he can't go back to the NCAA for 10 more years, and hopefully the NFL works out for him, or he's going to be coaching in the NAIA or something.
Oh, I'll tell you. We're in Ted Lasso territory now, though. Like, Charger, Harbaugh just kind of has an amount of time that he can be in a place, and he's like unbelievable, and then it just kind of gets like a little sour. It seems like that's happened. I don't know. Obviously, Michigan ended pretty good if memory serves.
Right.
But like it seems like he kind of has like a window of time. I don't know if he gets the zoomies or what's going on. I love the idea of him. Well, I was gonna say winning a Super Bowl, and I don't really want that to happen for obvious reasons. But I really love the idea of him just climbing the mountaintop with the Chargers, and Justin Herbert fully ascends, and like, all right, I'm done. Mid-America Nazarene University, here I come. Like, bring him here. Let's go.
Yeah, it would be great. It would be really fun.
That NAIA Hard Knocks would be amazing.
Let's get a production company on the phone for that. Let's produce something like that. It was you know what they did? It was basically Last Chance U. That was basically an NAIA.
That's true. Yeah, good point.
That's JUCO, not quite.
We need Harbaugh.
Yes, Harbaugh would make that better. You don't need whoever that guy was on. No, that guy hates Chiefs too. That's so funny.
That guy hates a lot of guys.
That's actually very fair.
That is a hateful man. I don't know him personally, but
I think that is very fair. Terry McLaurin was activated off the PUP list for his ankle injury, and I think Ricky tweeted out earlier on Saturday that there's a deal coming soon. So shout out to Terry McLaurin. He deserves every bit of that deal too for sticking with the Commanders during those brutal times. And he was, for a long stretch of the time, he was about the only thing that they had going for him.
And I'm not team pay everybody what they want all the time. Like, you got to make some tough decisions in the salary cap. Yeah. It was really bizarre to me that Washington appeared to be playing if you don't like it, leave game with the weapon for Jaden Daniels. It's like, hey man, you seem to have gotten the quarterback pretty right. Do you want to just make sure he can throw to the football to this guy for a few more years? I know he's like a smidge older than you want to pay there. You get a margin for error when you have a quarterback on a rookie contract. Imagine, the Chiefs with their roster with an extra $40 million or whatever right now. Mm-hmm. You can afford a couple of swings and misses or some bloated numbers later on. The Chiefs weathered some of those. I'm surprised that it took this long for Washington and McLaurin, and presumably it's happening soon, but not officially yet.
Yeah. Outside of Terry McLaurin, do you want me to read you the 4 players that they're paying the most in their top? So Terry McLaurin's number 2. So the second guy that they're paying the most to.
Oh, paying the most. Okay.
Yeah. Number 1 is Daron Payne.
Okay.
So they're paying Daron Payne $26 million. This is a cap hit, right? So he has a $26.1 million cap hit. Terry McLaurin is 2 at 25.5, which I think Ricky reported it's going to go up to 30, which like they probably should pay Terry McLaurin the most on the team if you're talking about just like based off merit. Laramie Tunsil's number 3 is who they're playing the third most.
Interesting.
21.3. They got him in a trade, obviously, this offseason. Marshawn Lattimore is also number 4 of who they're playing. That's $18 million cap hit. And Frankie Louvu is their 5th highest paid player on their team.
I'm really glad.
So they said, yeah, you know what? Let's actually not give the guy. Let's not make Terry McLaurin the highest paid player. We still want to be paying Deron Payne the highest amount of money.
And
we want to be paying Laramie Tunsil.
And we want to just let Daniels throw to De'Ami Brown. I'm trying.
Can I tell you the ages of these guys? By the way,
they're sneaky old, other than Daniels, right?
Yeah, Deron Payne is 28. Terry McLaurin is 30. Laramie Tunsil's 31. Marshawn Lattimore's 29. Frankie Louvu's 29. Sam Cosme is at 6. He's 26. Dorrance Armstrong is 28. The Commanders do have. Oh, shout out Andrew Wiley. I forgot Andrew Wiley was on this team. Yeah. He's 31. Marcus Mariota is their backup quarterback, by the way, who is making just $200,000 less than Jaden Daniels is, which is funny enough. But they have the oldest average age.
Bobby Wagner is, who's also not young,
ancient. 35. Holy cow! I didn't think he was that old.
Hey, wow, do you remember the Von Millers there?
Yes,
36.
Austin Eckler's their running back. They have Nick Allegretti too. They also had Lucas. They also had Lucas Niang, and he tore his ACL.
I saw that. It was a bummer. I was kind of hoping we get a little Lucas Niang sighting sometime soon, but so weird.
They've Michael Gallup is on this team.
Chris Paul. I thought he retired. I thought he was a Clipper.
Yeah, a Clipper. Yeah. But they have the oldest roster in the NFL by average age. The Steelers are second, but like,
which is
they keep signing.
Quarterback ages are like 15 years apart.
Yes, very, very true. It's just that the Washington Commanders have just become a retirement home for just like defenders, I guess, because they're gonna have Von Miller, they're gonna have Bobby Wagner, they're gonna have all these guys on the field, Marshawn Lattimore, all on the field at the same time. And that would have been a super good defense in like 2013. I mean, I'd say
when Jaden Daniels was 10 years old, that would have been
was playing Pop Warner. Yeah. It would have been awesome. Okay, I think that's all the headlines. Let me hop back over to the tab. I think that's the last headline I want to talk about. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to talk about any of this other stuff, but that's gonna do it for quick hitters. I forgot to hit the button for quick hitters. Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should just do like, I need a tackle sound effect.
No, you have to make it every time. You hit the horn and then you make.
Time for quick hitters. It's every mic'd up, you know?
Yeah, I think
it's
that's
just,
great.
you just hear a mic'd up offensive lineman. It's just.
If you follow up on an earlier promise and just start doing every show in shoulder pads, you could just take your microphone and just bash it against your shoulder pads a couple times, and I think that'd be great for your mic.
It'd be good. All right, you guys know we got to do Bozo of the week. We're gonna do our Bozo of the week. Hang on, let me get the sound effect. Here we go. Bozo of the week.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
All right, Bozo of the week.
I'm adding that in for the Bozo of the honka.
I like that for sure. I was trying to think of what other sound effects I have on my board right here that I could throw in there as well. I don't use this one nearly enough. And like, I think that one could be really good. I think I did use it when Maddie said, "I'm not making FAU the meat." And I said,
huh?
I think you brought the thumb to Weird Games a couple times. We gotta use that to keep Nate and Seth on track more often.
Yeah, we really do. It's really, I really need something to like show them that like it's time to move on. Maybe it's one of like, just like I give them the belt. Well, here's the thing. I want you to hear the difference between these. Okay, here's the first one. Second one.
Whoa! That's crazy.
Which one do you think is which?
The second one was the Taco Bell bell.
100%. But this is Taco Bell. This is Undertaker.
Wow. Liv Moss.
Yeah. I do have that one on here. Here's a good one. This one's from Craig Stout.
Chucker, don't clip that.
I've got that queued up on the board as well.
Love
we don't really use this one. And this is the beef of the week sound effect.
Really good.
Pretty
Really
strong. I do obviously have this one too for anything Kent says.
Now we bring you Kent's food take of the week.
Yeah, that's what it should be. Kent's food take of the week brought to you by Waste Management. You know what I do? I know we got a hit beef of the week, and this podcast is already going to go long because we're just running through all of the sounds.
It's just my fault.
Oh, buddy, no, it goes like an hour and a half sometimes.
Okay.
We get after it. I do have this one too. I don't play this one very often. I'm actually hesitant. No, I'm going to play it.
What were you hesitant about?
Yeah, I don't know. I should just full send it. And then I think this is actually the last one on the board.
Finish him.
Is the Mortal Kombat finish him?
I like that.
Finish him. Huh?
You do a couple like little combos.
You can start DJing back there for sure. Undertaker Bell, Taco Bell.
It's just like one of these.
The fact that you can have that they both played at the same time.
At the same time,
I feel like it's really opening up a lot of possibilities here.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm glad that people got to explore the soundboard. Look, hey, drop in the comment section below any other sound effects you want me to add.
What sound effects I was add? I want to get a soundboard now, I think. So go ahead and tell me what I should put on mine.
Yeah, that's a great call. I've got, I think, 3 different banks that I can do. 3 banks of 2, 4. That's 8. Two banks of 8 sound effects, or 4 banks of 8 sound effects. So you can do the math at home without a calc. Calc is short for calculator. If you guys don't know that, chat, do it without a calc. And drop it in the comment section below.
Hit that bell.
What that is. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, absolutely obliterate them, and we will get to Bozo of the Week. This is from Scott from Fremont, Nebraska. Scott, shout out. Thank you for your submission. Link in the description as well if you want to submit your beef or Bozo of the Week. He said this isn't necessarily any one specific person, but my Bozo of the Week is a person who can't figure out when to go on a 4-way stop. I love a good generic beef of the week. You know, it's just like this idea of a person. Phenomenal, because I found myself like very recently in this same predicament from as Scott lays out here. He says, yesterday I was approaching a 4-way stop and there were 2 cars approaching from the opposite direction, both in the left-hand turn lane. The first car rolled up and came to a stop a full 2 or 3 seconds before I did, so I waited for that first car to make a turn, and I waited. Then about 5 seconds later, they waved me on and looked irritated that I hadn't already gone. I didn't get a good look at the person who was the second in line to turn, but I'm guessing that's because they were looking for a tire iron so they could get out and beat the snot out of the Bozo's car. I didn't read this ahead of time. I didn't.
Is this from Matt Verderam?
It might be. The number of bozos that are clueless at a 4-way stop is shocking. In an effort to be nice, quote unquote, and let everyone else go first, they screw up the flow for everyone else. Maybe that's a beef. Maybe that's a bozo. I'll leave it up to you guys. Scott, it's a Bozo of the Week. I cannot stand people who they don't understand the concept of like, if you're there first, it don't matter where you're going. If you're there first, it's you. That's you, dog. Like you are going.
And if we're all there and we're all stopped and there are multiple cars everywhere, there's an order to this. You just
yes.
I'm completely with you guys. This is a great one. I would like to add in people who don't zipper merge. I know it's a little bit of a different Bozo beef kind of thing, but it's like a similar vibe of like, well, it's either you can only operate one of 2 ways. It's either I want to be so kind and giving that I'm going to make sure other people get the right of way first, even if that's not how the rules work. We have rules. We live in a society. Alternatively, it's, well, I don't really care what you're going to do. You're not going to hit me, so I'm going to do my thing, which is also Bozo material.
Zipper merge too in construction. I feel like some people, they'll drift out in the middle of it, so they like stop people from like going up because they think that'll make it faster for them.
Yeah.
But like what people don't understand about the zipper merge is it makes it faster if you use both lanes to go all the way up and then take one at a time. They don't get that. They don't understand a zipper merge. It's frustrating. People not understanding 4-way stops. There's a 4-way stop like right outside like my house to kind of get to the main way. And it's just like a lot of people are turning left because that's the way that you got to go to get to the main road. So when I'm going straight, so a lot of the times I go in front of people who are trying to turn left if I stop there first, and like they just don't understand it. It's just like, hey guys, how about you read that manual that you picked up to take your driver's test for? Also, I saw this take. People over the age of like, once you hit like 70, every 2 years, I think you need a driver's test.
I might support even more and earlier than that. Like, hey,
50?
When you renew your driver's license, pass a quiz.
That's probably a good idea.
How about that?
Yeah.
That if that's really problematic, someone will tell me. And if it's not, it's a good idea.
I think they should. You told me. I'm in.
How often do you have to renew your driver's license? I don't know. It's like
I don't know.
a decent chunk of time.
I don't have my driver's license on.
I don't know. I can't look.
Yeah.
When you renew your driver's license, maybe you don't have to do a driving test every time. Maybe it's maybe it's multiple choice, and you get to take a couple more passes at it same day. I'm not saying you need to ruin your life at the DMV and spend a week there to get through, but like a little brush up. A little brush up would be nice. Watch a video. I don't know.
Not gonna hurt. Not gonna hurt.
Not gonna hurt.
I think definitely for like the older people, when you see the old people on driving like 55 and on like I-70 in the right lane, you're like, all right, maybe it's time to hang it up.
You know what?
Grandma. Like,
at least they're in the right lane. Some of these bozos. Oh no! Oh, I got a whole beef for left lane slow drivers. I'll save that.
Oh,
for next
dude.
time.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that one's that those really get me going.
We're all trying to get somewhere.
We got some good beef and bozos. I'm excited for beef of the week, kind of later on this week with Matt Verham, because there are some good ones in here as well. Dan Orlovsky making the list. That was from Steven in Omaha.
Oh,
lots of Omaha. So shout out Omaha and Nebraska just in general, because we got Scott from Fremont who submitted today's Bozo of the week. Appreciate that, Scott.
It's a beefy place.
As always. Yeah, they do love. I mean, there's Omaha steaks.
And it's supposedly a bozo-y place, I guess. I don't know.
Lots of bozos. Yeah, lots of bozos apparently in Nebraska.
There's a lot of bozos everywhere, so actually I'm going to go ahead and let Nebraska free on that.
We got a lot of from Indiana too. Indiana is a weird, not weird, is an interesting place.
Indiana's so weird.
Indiana, weird state. No, I wasn't trying to make
Indiana.
Wasn't trying to make a statement, but I know Verderame would actually agree with that one. He does not like Indiana. Atlanta also, Josh. Weirdly enough, a lot of listeners from from Atlanta in the Beef and Bozo of the Week submission. So yeah, I mean, I've only ever been to the airport.
Yeah, the airport's great. It's a great airport.
Had Chick-fil-A there.
I think there's a Chick-fil-A in every terminal there. There might be one at every gate.
Should be. I mean, good stuff. I think that's it, Josh. I think it's all that we have outside of the drawing, obviously. So if you guys are here for the drawing, party just about to get started. But if you are not here and you do not care about us drawing, we do appreciate you hopping on, joining us here for that football show. Josh, thank you so much for filling in for Matt during his strike.
It's a pleasure. Anytime that Matt has a labor-related beef, when he needs to get a new contract, a holdout, a strike, whatever it is, you call me and I'll come here and be the union buster I am.
Perfect. That's exactly what we need. That's exactly the attitude that we need here on that football show. Hilarious. Yeah, I mean, the last time you were here is after Matt got his back surgery too.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, I'll be able to do a podcast. And I was like, are you sure you're going to be able to do a podcast? He's like, yeah, no, I'll be fine. And then he got to the time he said, I can't do a podcast. I was like, I didn't think you were going to be able to, but no, Matt will be back on. I think we plan on Tuesday. I think we have a show coming out on Tuesday just because this one's on Saturday. We'll bump it back from Monday to Tuesday just so there's at least, some time in between the release of our podcast. Who knows? Maybe Matt and I will record tomorrow and we will get a podcast out for you on Monday as well. Who cares?
As soon as he gets Terry McLaurin's deal, he'll be back.
That's a great point. All right, that's going to do it for that football show. Stick around if you want to see the winners of the KCSN Foundation pre-tourney raffle. Super excited for that. That is going to be an incredible time out there at Creekmore Golf Course. I'm excited. I get to be out there on the beer cart again. That might be a mistake on their part, but nevertheless, I will be there. Josh, will you be there?
I will. And I have.
Wow, I didn't want to speak for you.
I have.
So I'm glad that you said yes.
I have an idea that I wanted to ask you about, and I'll do that after the show.
That's great. I guess you guys are gonna have to stick around to see what Josh has to ask me.
Have to get to the golf tournament to see.
That's true. All right, that's going to do it. For Joshua Brisco, I'm Tucker Franklin. Thank you for listening to That Football Show. Thank you to our partners, Ben Holiday Bottle and Bomb Bourbon and Holiday Distillery. Make sure to hit that like button for one Sky Moore punt return for a touchdown and hit the subscribe button to become a ball knower. We'll see you guys later. All right, so I want to thank everybody, first off, for all the donations. Look at this wheel. Like, this wheel is from donations that we got for 1 week. Like, that's insane, guys. Like, I appreciate you guys so much for the support. To refresh your memory, obviously, there's going to be some dated information on this graphic, but I want to throw it up for you guys. This is what we are raffling off right now. Chris Jones signed white jersey, Xavier Worthy rookie card, a private tour for 10 at Holiday Distillery, Dwayne Bowe signed jersey, and a Rashee Rice signed jersey as well. We are drawing these winners right now. We really do appreciate all the support. These donations go towards operating costs of the KCSN Foundation. If you guys don't know, like, this doesn't go to anyone's pocket. Like, it doesn't go to pay BJ, doesn't go to pay me, doesn't go to pay Josh or Craig Stout or Ken Swanson. All that money goes back into the community. So it's a very efficient organization and foundation where you give us money, we use it to help other people as well. We kind of pride ourselves on that. So we appreciate everyone again for getting involved in this and helping out with the community. Lots of good, great causes as well. But Josh, which one do you think we should start with first?
I think can people win multiple times? If they have multiple entries, they get removed after they've won.
I think we've been doing the remove. I think we've been removing
right.
people. Yeah.
Let's start left to right. I want to finish with the Dwayne Bowen. I want that one to be the finale because that's the one that I'm gonna try to get my name in for.
That for sure.
Let's go big. Let's go Chris Jones.
Chris Jones 9-5, CJ 9-5. This is for that Chris Jones signed white jersey. If you listen to the podcast, obviously you guys know that Josh and I big fans of white jerseys. So
this is particularly the Chiefs one.
Oh, yes, particularly the Chiefs one. The winner of the Chris Jones jersey is Garrett Kale. I believe you said that Kale, right? Wouldn't you say that Kale?
It's got an H in the middle. Otherwise, it's spelled like the green leafy vegetable. Congratulations, Garrett. That is a banger win.
Yeah, that's huge, Garrett. The first draw, like that is insane. So thank you so much for your donations and all your contributions here. One of the programs that the donations go to is the My First Game campaign, which is one of the coolest programs I think that we do is the My First Game campaign. We get to send kids from the Boys and Girls Club out to Arrowhead Stadium for their first game. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? They get to experience Arrowhead for the first time. It's one of those super cool ones that we get to be involved with, and our friends at Dick's House of Sport also involved with that one as well too. But let's do the Xavier Worthy rookie card, Josh.
Let's do it. Graded at a 10.
Yeah, SGC. I think that's just like also the same thing as like PSA. It must be another one of those grading organizations. I'm not huge into cards. You know who is? Matt Verderam. He's huge into cards. Maybe his name gets to pop up on here. Oh, huge baseball card collector. Doesn't have as many football cards. He still does collect football cards, but huge baseball card collector. Winner of the card is Cody Smith.
Congratulations, Cody.
Huge. You know, and now you can get to tell Cody, your significant other, you can say, hey, look, I just made a huge investment because Xavier Worthy rookie card graded 10.
I think you can say I made a wise investment. You know, I think you want to.
Wise, yes.
I don't know how many entries you had, Cody, but either way, that's a good little ROI. It's all about how you sell it.
I mean, if you got the $100 one, like, I mean, I still think that like you give it a couple years, that Xavier Worthy graded 10 rookie card.
It's really nice. I like that a lot.
Don't
put it in the sun.
Oh yeah, do not put it in the sun. Oh, this one. Incredible. Private tour for 10 at Holiday Distillery. Josh, I mean, you've had the opportunity to be out there at wonderful Holiday Distillery and have I believe we went on a tour, right? Did we go on a tour?
Yes. I've had a couple different versions of, I don't know if I've done the formal tour in that way. I have seen pretty much every corner I think I'm allowed to see at Holiday at least.
Yeah.
And it is amazing. See, I saw that on the raffle list on Weird Games. Oh man, that is an awesome thing. I think you'll have a great time up there with 9 of your closest friends. That's amazing.
Pretty big, pretty huge. All right, let's spin the wheel on this one. We're going to be doing a bunch of events out there at Holiday Distillery, too. We got the K-State watch party coming up, as I mentioned. College football watch party for week 2 coming up with the Mizzou KU game. Make sure to stay locked in there. And Eric Barman is going to be going to Holiday Distillery for his private tour for Tim. Shout out, Eric.
Big time of the year for Eric Barman's number 9 through 15 friends. They're on the bubble here, 8 through 15. Gotta make sure if maybe you didn't get Eric a birthday present this year or something. If you're seeing this, now's your time.
That's a great point, Josh. Great point. All right, let's go to the Rashee Rice jersey. Let's skip the Dwayne Bowen. We're gonna end with the Dwayne Bowen, and let's go to the Rashee Rice white jersey. Another white jersey. The only red jersey we have actually is that Dwayne Bowen, which I think fitting.
It's a beautiful thing.
The winner, Rashee Rice signed jersey, Alfred Nabholz.
Congratulations, Alfred. That is also huge.
Also,
I don't mean jersey is the winning it is huge. I don't know what size the jersey is.
Another investment. Yeah, neither do. Do they size those? I've got a Nick Bolton one over here, number 54 signed jersey. I think I've showed it to you before.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a size jersey or not. And also,
I feel like it probably is. They
have to be,
right? They're making them. They don't know which ones are going to get signed when they're manufacturing them. I think.
Well, here's a fun fact. Here's a fun fact about that one. It's doesn't have any Chiefs logos on it. It's just like a red jersey that looks like a Chiefs jersey.
Oh, interesting. Because that one probably doesn't. Then I don't know.
know.
I am not the one to grade the authenticity of any. This has all been done before me. Before I got.
Yes, 100%. These are all legit too. These are all legit prizes. Last one here.
One of them is arguably the most legit. One of them is arguably, the pinnacle, the peak. My guy. Who's going to the Bozo, Tucker?
Let's find out. The winner of the signed Dwayne Bowe jersey is Jacob Hedden.
My new best friend and a recipient of whatever you need on Venmo. Jacob Hedden. You just let me know. You put a number on it, and I'll get you. No, it's yours. You should keep it. I'm pretty jealous.
That's pretty sick. I mean, you better go. I will give Jacob this bit of advice, and really anybody who won one of these signed jerseys. You can get shadow boxes to hang your own jersey on Amazon for a lot cheaper than what it is to get them professionally hung. Obviously, it might look a little bit better if you get them professionally hung. My Nick Bolton jersey does just fine the way that I hung it. So I mean, all really exciting things. Glad we got to give out those prizes. Josh, any final thoughts on the raffle winners?
That you can ship that Dwayne Bowe signed jersey to my home address, which is Thank you all very much for support of the KCSN Foundation. I always kind of wish that we just had and here's something for everybody else, because everybody is participating in an awesome thing. And you mentioned in the My First Game deal. I went and I had a little family video clip that Renee had found a little while back of me, doing a little pregame and postgame analysis with my dad at the Arrowhead parking lot, the Chiefs-Bears game where Priest Holmes broke the single season rushing touchdown record. And so many of us I know have these strong memories from our first game or our first few games at Arrowhead. The fact that you people listening to this show are able to help provide that for a bunch of other kids who otherwise might not be able to experience Arrowhead or certainly in their childhood when it's such a formative time. I think very fondly back on those trips and those games. Yeah. And now a lot more kids are going to get to have that experience. That's awesome.
It's one of the coolest things that we do, man. I love that one. Obviously, the holiday store and the holiday raffle is one of the big pushes that we have. The Therese Paylor Foundation, obviously, we're really, or scholarship, I should say, is one of the other big things that we do. And also, the feeding the homeless for our Feed It Forward campaign as well, and Tacos for Life helping out with that as well. So, I mean, it's a really cool thing, and we really do appreciate you guys hopping in there and getting that was only a week's worth of people, right? Crazy. And that wheel was jam-packed. So I really do appreciate everybody. Number one, donating and helping us out. Number two, listening all the way to the end to find out if you want. We do appreciate that as well. So for Joshua Brisco, I'm Tucker Franklin. That's going to do it. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We will talk to you guys later.